Hi everyone, and welcome to this week's video. First, we wanted to say thank you to everybody for all the lovely comments on our video last week. It was obviously the first video for a while, and we wanted to just talk a little bit about our absence and why it's been a while. Firstly, I guess,
Well, I got fairly sick. I got very sick, which completely knocked me out for months and has taken me months to sort of really get around to a full recovery. But I'm recovered now and everything is okay in that aspect, so all's well.
and then we had a pretty turbulent summer last summer. Unfortunately, my mum passed away very quickly, so that came as a massive shock to us, and it took the ground out from under us for a while. So we just felt like we weren't in a position to be able to do this. But that's all in the past, and we're back on track.
Yeah, and we ended up doing quite a bit of travelling to and fro and one thing and another. So our schedules were all over the place, and we didn't. There's some days we didn't know what we were doing, whether we were coming or going. So now we seem to be back on track and happy enough to be here.
So we're going to continue. While we were absent on YouTube, we did do a lot of recording. So we have a lot of footage, and we don't want to fast forward to where we are now. We want to make sure that you guys are up to date as we made progress on the land. So
See what we were doing as we were going along.
yeah, which is, I hope you'll find it interesting, but it's part of our story, and this is why we've decided to do this, is to document what we're doing, and we hope that you enjoy it as we go.
Hopefully you will enjoy it. And
Yeah.
thank you for watching.
Okay, so enjoy the video, and we'll chat to you soon.
Bye for
Bye.
now. This is like phase one of the shed. Well, it is phase one of the shed. It's clearing the site, or clearing the location that I'm actually going to put it. I'm going to put it in there. So I have to clear that cactus. I'm not looking forward to this. Hopefully now you'll be able to see it a little bit better. So that's one section of it there. There's another section there. And then you have a pathway down along here. I've dug out a little bit to the sides as well, so that it will mark it out a little bit better for you to see it. There's a pipe here too for the automated irrigation system, so I'm going to bury that. I don't have to bury it very deep here because we don't have to worry about or be concerned about frost, so I'm going to bury that and an electrical cable. Here is a problem. All these roots, we'll just have to get them up as best that we can, I guess, and go from there. And there's more of it. Now there is a situation here that when it does rain, there's 2 points that I noticed that the water comes through. One of them is around here, and the other one is around here. And we have this natural slope, lovely natural slope, just enough, not too much, otherwise it would go too fast. So I'm going to make it that the water can go down along there. and I'll put the drills or the beds this way, whatever it is that we're doing. That way then it can form a sort of a natural movement of the water, and we'll do something for the ground there. And then over here we'll have a path over here, and I will go under the path to the next spot. That's the crop circle. I would like to go one right across here, maybe under the digester, and then that's another part of the garden here. So the natural flow of the water would come down that way there, down through the drills, kind of trying to catch as much of the water there as we can, underneath the path here, into this part of the garden here, and then it naturally goes down to the other end of the wall here, and then drops below. So that's the plan. So I have this section of the irrigation done and of the electrical, so it's buried again. It doesn't have to go too deep, and there will be more clay going up on this area here. And I put some gravel in. The reason being is that over here we have a little bit of moisture, and I'm just concerned that if we get rain, unreal, isn't it? If we get enough of rain, that when it comes down, it has that track to go down along, and I will cover it so that it doesn't get all soiled in, and it will irrigate or water the plants down here. So I have dug out all along by the edges there. So I'm working on the natural events of water and gravity. So as the water comes down from these rocks, from the upper terrace, which it naturally does, it has a place to flow. And what I'm looking to do is to control that flow, because before I think it was coming out somewhere around here, and then it just made a rapid river down along to the edge of the other terrace. So if I can hold that for long enough that it can kind of permeate or penetrate into the ground, it won't do any harm anyway, that's for sure. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to run the other irrigation pipe from here under that. I'll fill that with stone up to here, because there's another plan for the rest of that, and then I'll run the irrigation pipe, to get it correct, along the ground there. I'd need it above the ground there so that I can access it to put water systems on and off of it. So I'll do that now next. So now you can see it with the stones in it. So the stones will allow the drainage to go along the back, to go along in front of the wall. I'm calling it the back because it's the back of what we're going to do. And I think it looks pretty good. I will button up down here, which is a sort of this corner. I'm using this corner as a sort of a centre for things to meet. It will be very cool in there, which will be nice in the heat of the summer or the heat of the main sun, so there's good reason for what I'm doing there. But I think it looks good. Finally something that looks good down here in the lower, well, I know that's not really fair to say, but it's kind of coming together, the wall and the whole thing. You can imagine that now at night with the solar lights shining on it and the plants growing in it. I think it will be nice. This is a sugarcane that I've propagated from sugarcane that we have growing back at the other house, and this is also what's in between it is it makes like a tea. It's a beautiful scent out of it. Oh, It's almost like a mint, but of that kind of thing. But the tea out of it is supposed to be very soothing for your stomach. And then the sugarcane, well, there's a lot of things that you can do with the sugarcane, but we like it as a natural border. So we're going to sow it along here. So I'm going to sow it in a couple of different ways. They're ones that we've naturally propagated, but I'm going to cut some of the others down and put them in around them as well. And then we've got 2 chances of something growing, and I might get a few more and propagate them to a little bit less than that, because all you really need to establish them in the ground is the root. And then we'll have 3 separate different types of sugarcane hopefully growing, and hopefully one of them will do well, and it would be good if they all did well. So we'll try. And of course the all important thing whenever you plant anything, I guess, goes without saying, water them in. So I'm going to be doing some more planting here today. That's an aloe vera, that's a kind of a palm. They class this here as a weed, but for the moment I'm kind of okay with it. Okay with it once we have it under control and it's green like this. It's when it gets messy, but there's nothing to stop us from cutting it back and making good of it when it's there. But the aloe vera, this is the edible aloe vera, or the one that's safe to, well, safer to put on your skin and all that sort of thing. Beautiful, beautiful plant. Once you take it, process it and put it in the fridge, it's just absolutely spectacular when you put it on your skin. There's another plant there that I'll put in. I'm going to plant this area here in a dense kind of a fashion, so that it'll create its own sort of shelter amongst themselves. And those ones there I planted yesterday. That's a native Canarian or a Tenerife banana. More plants there, more aloe vera. The rock, just a sort of, you need to throw in something of some sort of texture as you're going along as well. Well, I do anyway, so whatever it is, or whatever you wish. I've dug a hole here a bit bigger than what I had thought, just to sort of process it for a banana plant. This thing, guys, this is amazing. This was a shovel that, you know, I just expect too much of these things sometimes, and leveraging them and everything, and I broke it. So I broke the top of the shovel off, but I made a point out of it, and my God, that little piece of kit has proven to be invaluable. It's just one of these things, I guess, that just turned good. This is another banana that is native to the Canary Islands. And when I say that, we lived in a place at one time, and a guy, Antonio is his name, and he's one of these real Canarian personalities, and he comes up and he says, well, we had the large banana trees in it, and he says, they are the wrong banana trees for Gran Canaria. And I said, oh, okay, but I didn't plant them. And he says, oh, okay, but they're still the wrong plants. So I said, why? And he said, they grow too tall. And I thought, okay, why is that a problem? He said, the wind. Once the wind catches them, and I mean a strong wind now, not a light wind, but wind is an enemy to the bananas. You know, when you see the leaves and the leaves are all lacerated and cut right along the veins, that's wind damage that does that to them. But this guy was right, because just shortly before we left that property, there was a massive storm and 3 of the large tall banana trees blew down. So hey, you know, you listen to these people that have lived on the island all their lives, and you learn things. Another thing that I have here that I really love, these. They need some water. They need to be got out of those pots. This is a red banana. Really looking forward to that. I have a couple of those. See, the difference is that the stem is red, the leaf is much greener, and the other one has a sort of a different colouring in the leaf, and the stem is green. So we'll have a couple of variations in the banana. We're not really going for them with the fruit, but they're a spectacular plant to watch them grow, and they grow quite quickly. And then you will get small growth out of them. They call them pups out of the lower parts of them here that grow from the stem. This becomes the mother plant, so to speak, and then the rest happens as it's going along. So those, I've got 2 of those, 2 of each, and then I have these. Now, for this time of the year, they're a bulb, and this one has a sort of a pinky flower, and this one, as you can see, has a white flower. Really beautiful. They're like a lily, and Angie and I love lilies, absolutely love them. Just to fill you in on what we're doing here, this is the corner of the bottom terrace. So as I had explained before, this is the sort of for the natural flow of the water, and then I have this marked out here for a shed. So I'm going to put a shed there, and in this corner we've decided to put an outdoor shower, because when you're in here, the wall is quite high. We'll plant things up along the top there as well, naturally, plant mad. We'll plant things along the top there, and this area I'm going to work on now. I'll show it to you when I have it sort of done to a certain stage, so that when I go to put up the shed, I'm not kind of in that corner trying to. It would be easier for me to do it now, or that's the way that I feel anyway. So I need to button up the automated irrigation system in there for these 2 zones that are down here, and I'll finish out this corner now and work from there back, and hopefully it should be quite nice. Really like that wall. So just to fill you in on what it is that I'm doing here, there's kind of a few points meeting here. This is a footing for, it's concrete, and this is the main point of interest here. When I marked it out, that's I go a few millimeters back from that and to the left, and then here I have this, I don't know what it's called, but it's extremely good weed block, and this is the same. So I'm using this one in the paths. This one is a lot more expensive, but it will be right underneath the project that we're going to be putting here. So I am putting down both of these, and I'm using this 25 kg bags, quite a few of them, but it is what it is. On top of it, it keeps the weed barrier down, but it also levels it, because this terrain here is quite uneven or unlevel. Here I don't mind it, because it's where the planting and everything is going, and we have some of the planting done there and the irrigation system in. So this is the path that will be the pathway down, and then along here just to border it. Plenty of rocks around here. If you want to do a rockery around here, guys, all you have to do is get out a shovel and start digging, and you'll find plenty of rock. So with more bananas going on there, and then I will put a rainwater tank here to catch the water from the roof, mostly humidity, or it's like a mist. Well, there is some rain as well, of course, and use it to water the plants. So here, this section here, this will be the section in front of the shed, and the shed will be here, which is a project that once I get this done and laid out, the groundwork is always first. And the surprising thing about it, guys, for me anyway, the surprising thing about it is none of this work will actually be seen. It's all groundwork, but it's so important to try to get it right. Well, it's difficult, it's hard bloody work, but that won't kid you. And once it's done right, it's done. And the idea down here is that all the way from over there, all the way through around here and down here and across here, we want to be able to walk in our bare feet in nice comfort. The reason being is most of the time here, a lot of outdoor living. Look at this, trying to keep this place tidy as well as do the work. I like to keep it tidy though. Here in this corner, the end of the shed meets at that point there, and I'm going to put in a toilet and a shower, an outdoor shower there. I'll put something between the cactus and us for privacy as well, but that has the makings of something nice. Keep it simple, and yeah, that's where we're at so far. Kind of interested in doing this walk because it's changing each time that you go at some section of it, and I'll do another video of it then just before we start the next phase of it all.